The eyes of Shenron lit up with a bloody red light when a magical force covered the earth, all the dead people all revived. Your wish has been granted, goodbye. The dragon balls were scattered all over the world again, and the dark clouds dispersed in a moment. By the way, Trunks, you go see if the people whose bodies were destroyed are also resurrected. Thinking of Shenron, to resurrect people need a complete body, Son Gohan instructed. No need. People who make wishes should restore the bodies of all people in advance. A voice came, Piccolo, Vegeta, Krillin, and other people's figures appeared in the air. Uncle Piccolo. Krillin, Yamcha. Vegeta. Master Roshi and others called out with surprise on their faces and then ran up to the front one by one. The androids were actually wiped out. It seems that we missed a lot of good shows. From the mouth of Son Gohan, they learned the general situation. Tian Shinhan had an astonished look on his face, and while surveying the wrecked city around him, he lamented. However, his words had not yet fallen. An amazing change occurred. As if turning back time, the shattered city began to reorganize among the ruins, and in a short while, the crumbling ruins were transformed into a modern city building. The previous dilapidation was like a dream. Ayaka used Namekian's Dragon Ball. The first wish was to repair the bodies of all the dead, the second wish was to resurrect Piccolo, and the third wish was to repair the damage done to the Earth by the androids. Shortly after, Ayaka returned to Earth. When she saw a resurrected Dragon Ball warrior and a city that was no longer in disrepair, a smile appeared on her face. First time meeting, Piccolo, Vegeta. You are Gohan's aunt, Ayaka, right? Thank you. For the life-saving benefactor, Krillin and others were not sloppy, and hurriedly responded enthusiastically. Vegeta stood to the side, twisted, nodded, said, You are the Super Saiyan that Trunks said. Thank you for saving us. Since everyone is here, let's celebrate. Master Roshi was in a good mood and suggested with narrowed eyes. Yes, to restore peace to the earth. So, in everyone's hustle and bustle, a plate of sumptuous food on the table. It did not take long to start. Vegeta, Son Gohan, and others fought for food, clanking. The sound of dishes banging and plates clashing, and in front of them has stacked up a high pile of dishes. Saiyans are still so good eaters, but why did Ayaka eat so little? Is it that female Saiyans eat differently? Krillin looked at the familiar sound of plates clashing and couldn't help but recall the scene with Son Goku all those years ago. Ayaka picked up the dishes to Iam's bowl, laughing, I do not need much food, and I also control Iam's meals. Girls cannot always be like them. With the chopsticks pointing to several male Saiyans who were wolfing down their food, Krillin lied lightly and sarcastically. The eyes turned around a few times on Ayaka, unexpectedly thought that the original female Saiyans were actually so beautiful. In everyone's cheeky laughter, the meal feast continued until the afternoon, and then all one by one to say goodbye to leave. Time passes, and in the blink of an eye, 3 years have passed. 3 years, Vegeta, Son Gohan, Trunks and other continued practice with Ayaka as the goal. More than a year ago, Iam and Trunks successively turned into Super Saiyan, and this could also see that the Super Saiyan gradually became worthless. When Iam was able to transform into a Super Saiyan, she couldn't wait to tell Ayaka, and after being praised by her mother, she was happy for a while. Bulma studied the parameters of spacetime day and night. With reference to the small spatial film provided by Ayaka, there was a great breakthrough in research. Ayaka also thoroughly probes the Earth and the outer planets. The facts show that Majin Buu's egg didn't exist in this world. Ayaka did not find the planet on the outer world frozen. The two worlds were similar, but the worlds went completely different. On the lookout, Iam transformed into a Super Saiyan shining golden light, with a stroke of serious engagement with Trunks. Swish. Bang. The sound of punching and kicking was incessant, shifting. Iam surprisingly completely suppressed Trunks. I can't. I admit defeat. Trunks panted as he slumped to the ground. Idiot, give me more strength. How can Vegeta's son cannot even beat the 11-year-old girl? Stand up. Vegeta stood to the side grumpily yelled. This was the most noble lineage of Saiyan. How could he not even able to beat a little girl? Huh, Vegeta, I am is my true heritage. Trunks is no match. Ayaka covered her mouth with light laughter. Humph. Vegeta was lazy to argue, angrily turned his head away. Ever since Trunks was able to transform into a Super Saiyan, he had been allowing Trunks to fight against Ayam. In his words, Super Saiyan could only grow in battle. Perhaps this world's Saiyan was not as good as Ayaka's world. From the first game to now, Trunks did not win over Ayam but was crushed to death by the teenage girl. This made Vegeta ashamed. Heh, Dad is angry again. Trunks gasped. Humph. No more fighting. Ayam pouted and trotted away. Every time it was so dull to fight with Trunks, and she wanted to fight with Mama in her heart. Son Gohan came over and pulled up Trunks. Do not mind it, Ayam, that girl is the same as Ant. The potential is terrifying. Soon even I will be surpassed by her. In 3 years, Bulma and the others used the Dragon Balls 2 more times. Once to wish away the memories of all ordinary humans about androids, and once to restore Son Gohan's left arm, and now Son Gohan was working as a lecturer in one of the universities, which was a fulfillment of Chi-Chi's expectations. Well. A few days later, Bulma's scouter was finally completed. It and soon was a machine smaller than the Dragon Ball scouter, watch style, with only a few buttons and a monitor on it. As soon as the button was installed, the screen would show the data of the space where it was currently located. Ayaka took the space scouter, pressed the start button on the side. A few beeps, a series of data was displayed. 0.8210. These were the spatial parameters of Trunks' world. Ayaka understood that the world where Trunks was located was a world that deviated from the original. According to the projection, the closer the spatial parameters, the world was closer to the original world of 1.0. Ayaka was satisfied with the space scouter and put it away. Everyone, it has been 3 years since I came here. I am very happy to spend time with you, but the time has come to part. The space android I am in is about to appear. I am and I need to go back. Ayaka, thank you very much. If not for you, we are afraid that peace will not be restored here. We will remember you. Welcome to come back next time. Bulma was so sad that she was on the verge of tears. Ayaka smiled faintly, remembered something, and said, by the way, as far as I know, you still have an android here. Dr. Gero's computer gathered your genes to create a monster, and the strength is even more terrifying than the 17th and 18th. You guys should beware. Ayaka remembered Cell. If he had not intervened by her, Trunks would have gone to the past to tell the Dragon Ball warriors about the androids at this time with despair, and then returned to the time machine to recharge the energy for 3 years, and then went to the original world with Son Goku and others to destroy the androids. After another 3 years, they defeated the androids in this world, and Cell would appear. That means that Cell would appear after 6 years. Cell's strength was not the same as 17, 18 and couldn't be compared. Even in the initial state, after absorbing enough life essence, his strength was more powerful than the original world 17. The current strength of Vegeta and others was not enough. That android called Cell will appear in 6 years. He has Saiyan, Namekian, and Frisia's genes. The strength is very terrifying. Now should still be in the embryonic state. How to deal with the specific, you decide for yourselves. By the way, there are further transformations above the Super Saiyan that is beyond the Super Saiyan. I call it Super Saiyan 2. Gohan, Vegeta, I hope any of you can reach it. With that said, Ayaka waved goodbye toward everyone. The space in the background broke like a lens, the beautiful fragments shone brightly. Ayaka led Ayam a foot in, and a few moments later, the space returned to its original state. Gohan, about the android named Cell that Ayaka said, what are you going to do? Krillin asked nervously. Cell is still in an embryonic state. Why don't we go and destroy him now? Yamcha suggested. No one is allowed to go. Vegeta shouted angrily. Krillin shrugged his shoulders, an expression that he had known would be like this. Everyone turned their attention to Son Gohan, and the presence of that unknown android made their hearts extremely uneasy. Still, Vegeta's attitude showed that he did not want anyone to strangle Cell in advance. In fact, I also want to see the strength of that android. Son Gohan rubbed his head in embarrassment. I knew it. You are exactly the same as Goku, then we can only fight. Yamcha shook his head with a bitter smile. Saiyan sometimes simply incomprehensible, knowing that it was not a good decision but still wanted to challenge it. Beyond the Super Saiyan is Super Saiyan 2, and the unknown android Cell, it's all very interesting, isn't it? Vegeta tilted his head, the corners of his mouth curled up. When the appearance of the androids caught them off guard, now 6 years before Cell appears, they have enough confidence to increase their strength and then completely destroy the androids. Krillin shook his head. The Earth was going to go through another ordeal. The world where Ayaka lives, 3 years later, May 12th, it was a sparse day, the sun rose as usual. Dragon Ball warriors had finished their training and came to a large island 9 kilometers from the southern city. Hey, it's Tian Shinhan and Yamcha. At this time, because of the temperature, a certain distance from the ground rose a thin mist. Krillin floated among the clouds and saw several people standing on the hill of the island from afar, and then followed Son Goku, Piccolo and Son Gohan to land together. I was waiting for you, you are late. Gohan grew so tall. Bulma stood on the side of the airship with a child in her arms. Nonsense, what are you doing here? Son Goku said sternly. Come to watch the battle, it's okay, I'll take a look at the androids and go back. Bulma smiled indifferently. Krillin opened his mouth barks a little, sighing. What surprised me most is what Bulma is holding in her arms, she is married to Yamcha. That's not my child, we broke up long ago. Yamcha stood by with a depressed face. Bang! Bulma kicked on Krillin's calf, her eyebrows upside down, displeased. How can you talk like that? This is my child, not that thing you are talking about. Don't you guys think it's strange? It's already past 10 o'clock, but there's no sense of the enemy yet. Tian Shinhan stood on the edge of the end of the mountain, overlooking the prosperous town below. That boy also said because of his arrival history may change. In this place the androids will not exist at all. Yamcha spread his hands optimistically and said. Do not be blindly optimistic. A short time later, Yajirobe came over in his airship, carrying several newly produced senzu beans from Korin Tower. Recently, the year was bad, the production was slipping again and again, and after handing the senzu beans to Son Goku he finished his mission for the trip and left quickly in his airship. Boom! An explosion came and the airship Yajirobe was piloting exploded in the air. Someone attacked Yajirobe. What's wrong? I can't feel the enemy's ki at all. Son Goku looked grave. Could it be that there is no ki because it's an android? If we can't feel their breath, we can only use our eyes to judge, so let's split up and look for them, and notify everyone as soon as we find them. Swishing a few rays of light, Son Goku and others scattered to various parts of the small town. But there were at least tens of thousands of people on this large island, and it was a little difficult to find the androids from it. Soon after, Yamcha was ambushed by the androids, but in the nick of time Son Goku and the others arrived in time to save him with senzu beans. The two androids that came into view, one was an old man with long white beard and hair shaped like a wither, and the other was a fat man with a pointy horn on his swollen head, and the hat they were wearing was marked RR, which was the symbol of the Red Ribbon Army. Are they the androids? Finally revealed their true colors. Piccolo was overjoyed, his eyes showed a compelling cold light, the body's ki quickly raised. In a remote island, a cool breeze with the unique smell of the sea blowing. The green vegetation on the island was nourished by ample rainwater and grew into luxuriant branches and leaves, and on the jagged cliffs, several strange pines grew out along the broken walls. Suddenly, a distortion of the void, space shattered out of a 1-meter diameter hole, a wild vortex scraped out from inside the hole, hit the cliff. The rock wall cracked countless cracks in the clicking sound, and several fist-sized rocks flew down. Snap! A pair of fair and beautiful hands suddenly reached out and grabbed the twisted edge of the space. The untouchable edge of the space immediately looked like a hard door frame, and two young girls, one large and one small, burst out from inside. "Mama, we're back." The petite girl's face revealed a bright smile, clear and lovely face like a blooming flower, melting the ice and snow at once. 11-year-old Ayam had already begun to take on the potential of a beautiful girl. Ayaka nodded his head. She then pulled out the space scouter and looked at the data showing 1.0213. At this time from the distance came several powerful ki. Ayaka frowned, pulling Ayam Dream to fly into the air. "The battle with the androids has begun, let's go there too." The two who disappeared with a huff, and the light jetted out, cutting two long shadows of light in the air. In the island of steep rocks and strange rocks, boom 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 explosions incessantly. A cluster of blinding light flashes in the smoke, and Vegeta, who has just arrived, had already turned into a Super Saiyan and fought with Android 19. Hoo-hoo-hoo, a large piece of violent energy escaped everywhere, the earth rumbled. Vegeta's strength has suddenly become so strong, surprisingly pressed Bioroid's fight. Krillin watched in amazement. Piccolo watched the battle, his face gloomy said, "Those two androids are not terrible. It is difficult to deal with their hands that can absorb energy. Look at Goku, as long as the opponent's hands are avoided, eliminating the androids is easy." Krillin smiled and turned his head the other way, where the Super Saiyan state of Son Goku was fighting fiercely with the Android 20, and surprisingly, it was the same as Vegeta suppressing the androids to fight. As long as you find the weakness of the androids, it was very simple to deal with. Click, the Android 19's arms from the elbow down all removed. After losing both hands, 19 face was panic up, before it was beaten by Vegeta without the ability to fight back. Boom! A violent explosion came, the earth was blown out of a large crater. The body of the Android 19 was blown to pieces, and a head flew out, throwing an elegant arc. "Kakarot, my side has settled the androids, you are still dilly-dallying." Vegeta laughed arrogantly. "Ah, this android is more difficult to deal with ah." Son Goku gaze on the Android 20, lightly responded Vegeta. Do not sophistry, now I have surpassed you, Kakarot." Eliminating the androids before Son Goku made Vegeta's mood extremely relieved, with a smile on his face. This was the first time Vegeta exceeded Son Goku. In his opinion, he was already stronger than Kakarot. "Oh no, Son Goku and Vegeta are unexpectedly strong, with me alone has been unable to deal with them, do we have to wake them up?" The Android 20, namely Dr. Gero, was anxious in his heart. What a lot of nonsense. Vegeta impulsively stepped forward, overstepped the mark. "Kakarot, since you cannot deal with it, it will be left to me." "Ah, Vegeta, that is my opponent." Son Goku opened his mouth wide and shouted, the body reacted in a hurry, a flash to follow. Boom boom boom, Vegeta and Son Goku, two Super Saiyan attack. The Android 20 did not have a little chance to fight back, and was soon beaten all over the body, and an arm had also been removed. Not good. The energy is consumed for a long time, and the speed is gradually decreasing. Damn science. Android 20's eyes were red and he looked grumpy. "I told you that you will never win, 17 and 18 will come to kill you soon." The Android 20 yelled in a heartless manner and ejected all the energy with his other hand. Rumble. The island was immediately enveloped by the thick smoke from the explosion, the vision was blurred, and Android 20 took the opportunity to dive underground and disappeared. The smoke gradually cleared, a ruin covered with yellow sand had lost the trace of the androids. Damn, it disappeared. Vegeta's head bulging, roared at Son Goku, Kakarot, if it were not for your slow hands, the androids would not have escaped. How can you blame me, it is obviously that android cunning. Son Goku shook his head with an innocent face. Humph. He snorted angrily and stood aside without speaking. What should we do? Those androids have no key at all, if they do something naughty, we can't find him at all. Krillin's tone was urgent. The crowd was silent, that Android 20 didn't look strong, but the escaping technique was definitely not weak, it was hard to find him. At this time, the figure of Trunks appeared beside everyone, he looked at the group in surprise and said, "Who was that guy just now, why did you fight him? What's wrong?" Trunks asked suspiciously when he saw that everyone had stopped talking all of a sudden. Isn't that the android you were talking about?" Son Gohan looked at Trunks unbelievably. Androids? No, the androids in my world did not exist inside them. The world is crippled by the androids 17 and 18. 17 was a black-haired teenager with a scarf around his neck, while 18 was a teenage girl image with a costume similar to mine. They both have a cold look and round earrings, so they are very recognizable. A teenage girl image of an android? Krillin was astonished. The androids they fought just now were either old men or fat men. Where were the teenage girls? Well, and their energy is near infinite, never weakening. All in all, very scary. So we just hit the wrong one? Vegeta asked irritably. Piccolo shook his head, nope. Even if they are not the future teenagers 17 and 18, but they must be the androids, right? 19 and 20 were perfectly fit the characteristics of androids. After knowing that just dealing with the unexpected androids, Son Goku was surprisingly silent, and Trunks was also a bit jittery because of the change in history. Finally, Bulma thought that Android 20 might be Drive Gyro himself, and then they all flew towards Dr. Gero's institute in the north. In the cold northern mountains, white-capped snow covered the mountain range, and from afar, it was a thick white patch. A few cold winds blew, scraping a few snow clumps off the lime-green cedars. Let's split up. Above the white and empty snow, the crowd briefly discussed and flew off in different directions. Krillin kept searching along with the mountain range, and he kept circling between the various peaks by sticking to the ground when suddenly a black figure came into view. Dr. Gero. Krillin urgently stopped, his face showed surprise, and then gathered ki to guide Son Goku and others over. At this time, Dr. Gero also found Krillin. It's Krillin, the little bald guy. He smiled scornfully, and his finger quickly pressed the combination lock, thinking with certainty, as long as I release them, no one in this world will be able to stop me. Crackle, click. The heavy steel door slowly opened, and Dr. Gero's body scurried inside with a shrink. This was a very hidden institute, in the depths of the institute in a space stacked with a 2-meter long and 1-meter wide dormant. Several dormant had opened, only marked 16, 17, 18 of the 3 still intact closed. I don't want to start as a last resort, but now I can only start. I don't know if it's changed. Dr. Gero helplessly shook his head, his face a little gloomy. Although these androids were powerful, they were not qualified products in Dr. Gero's opinion because they were not under his control at all. Pop, pop. After hesitating for a while, he pressed the button of hibernators 17 and 18. 2 hibernator hatch then opened, from which came out 2 slender androids. Surprisingly, all girls, and not a man nor woman in the original. The original 17 and 18 were twin siblings, caught by Dr. Gero and transformed into androids because the brother was transformed first, so the number in front of the sister. And in this world, the twin siblings became sisters. 17, 18, hurry up and act. Son Goku's accomplices will soon arrive, I want you to destroy them, none left behind. Dr. Gero saw that the two androids did not look abnormal and relaxed in his heart. Yes. 17's soft voice rang out, and her body suddenly flashed, surprisingly snatching the dormant controller from Dr. Gallo's hand. What? The sudden change of events made Dr. Gero's mind shake, and a bad premonition immediately rushed to his heart. He roared in horror, 17, what are you doing? What did he need to ask? A dizzying sensation of spinning answered him, and 17 actually struck at him. Dr. Gero had no time to think. His head was already spinning in the air, cutting a beautiful arc. Damn, old man, we don't want to be controlled by you again. He, 17, you're so quick to strike. We're much more at ease without that old man. Smiling shallowly, 18's pretty face outlined a soft smile. Two blue eyes looked around and soon saw the large hibernator placed in the central location of the institute. There is a 16 here, looks different from us. Dr. Gero actually created so many androids. I wonder how strong this guy is. Should we try and see? 18 asked with a tilted head. 17 shrugged her shoulders and said she would let her decide. Boom! The steel door of the institute was blown open, the smoke cleared, and Son Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, and others appeared outside the institute. Ah! There are so many people here, what can we do now? Son Goku is also in. It saves us from looking around. But we are outnumbered, oh. Number 18 covered his mouth and shouted in surprise. Then kill them all. Piccolo raised an eyebrow, suspiciously looking at the two androids talking and laughing, turned his head to Trunks and said, Trunks, didn't you say that the androids are one male and one female? How come both of them are female? Trunks had a moment of consternation, shook his head breathlessly. I'm not sure why android 17 would be female, but there is no doubt that they are the androids that brought darkness to the world. Everyone, be careful. Their strength is terrifying. He naturally didn't need to remind this, Son Goku and others had already been prepared. Trunks wrinkled his brow and thought uneasily, it looks like history has really changed, 17 is actually female, and there are still androids here 16, absolutely can't let them start, androids can't be increased. After experiencing the dark reign of the androids for more than a decade, Trunks would never allow this world to become a purgatory on Earth. Thinking of this, he transformed into a Super Saiyan, and then regardless of the 3 or 7, to the Institute to start the destruction. Impudent brat. Vegeta cursed angrily and hurriedly shielded himself with air, and together with the others, to exit the Institute. Boom! 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 The sky shook the earth, and the Institute was located in the mountain peak was completely blown apart. The explosion generated by the chaotic rocks and wild energy flying around, thick smoke spread out. It was said that Trunks' attack had put forth its full strength and was naturally not less powerful, but the result was frustrating, and the dormant device of the Android 16 did not suffer a bit of damage. At the other end of the hill, 18 kicked away the dormant device, and Android 16 woke up. *T, another android has awakened. Trunks' face went white at once. Looking at the newly appeared large 16, Vegeta showed an elegant smile, mockingly shouted to Son Goku, Kakarot, now there are 3 androids, wait a moment I will go over to completely defeat them, so you can see what the noblest lineage of Saiyans is. Son Goku shrugged his shoulders, there was nothing he could do, or he had long since adapted to Vegeta's temper. Seeing Vegeta turned into a ray of light to fly past, Trunks' face was ugly, and he said urgently, Vegeta is too gullible. These androids are not simple. We'd better go and help him. Son Goku nodded in agreement. He was not as blindly arrogant as Vegeta, after a calm analysis, came to a bad conclusion. The difference in strength is so great that Vegeta will be killed. With a winding circling canyon, 17, 18, and 16 had been waiting there, such as hunters waiting for their prey to come to the door. The sky flashed a few lights, Vegeta and others flew over one after another. The hunter took it easy, the prey automatically to the door, it is time to harvest. 17 jumped down from the stone, narrowed the two sky blue eyes, contemptuous, rush in the forefront is Vegeta, followed by Son Goku's group and a teenager of unknown origin. 17, leave Son Goku at the end. Let me play with Vegeta first. 18 stroked down the golden hair hanging by the corner of the eye, looking elegant. Since 18 wants to play, Vegeta will be given to you, sister. 16, we block Son Goku and them, do not rush to kill, or it will be much less fun. 17 said. Whatever, I was produced to kill Son Goku. Since you guys said so, I'll delay it. Vegeta was flying at high speed and saw the three waiting not far away. 18. The corners of his mouth showed a smile. He turned into a Super Saiyan state, the golden flame suddenly blazed up, 3 androids, let me Vegeta to clean you up. Shaking his head, 17's clean face revealed an evil smile, Saiyans are always overconfident. 18, teach Vegeta a good lesson. Okay, let me see the power of the Saiyan Prince, I hope it is not unbearable. 18 adjusted the clothes, walked towards Vegeta's side. But her arrogant speech made Vegeta angry. His whole body ki rose up, and Vegeta's gaze was cold. Who dared to scorn the Saiyans would be killed by him. Whether the other party was female or not. Under Vegeta's strong aura, 18 did not move. It's my turn. Boom. Her calm cheeks became cold and indifferent, 18 emitted an icy and bone-chilling chill, and her aura actually did not belong to Vegeta at all. Lightly stepped on the toes, the whole body flies up, instantly had come to Vegeta with. This scene let Vegeta's eyes stare, his body suddenly tense, he realized that the android in front of him was not simple. She did not wait for him to think more, the swift attack would greet over. Bang bang bang. A series of exchanges, starting from the first, a powerful impact would come like a whirlwind, at once enveloped him. Vegeta more and more gloomy fight, punches and kicks also became heavy. Not far away Son Goku and others landed on the ground, looking at Vegeta who was tangled with 18, his gaze became worried. Vegeta seemed to be fighting with 18. The two were neck and neck, but Son Goku's sharp eyes had found that Vegeta's attacks were nothing for the android. 18 seemed to be in a mess, but in fact it was like dancing, teasing Vegeta all the time. The Super Saiyan realm consumes ki very quickly, and Vegeta was doomed to fail if he could not quickly resolve his opponent. The situation is not good for Vegeta. Son Goku's face was gloomy. He was expecting that after several years of hard work and preparation, he should be able to easily deal with the androids with a large increase in strength, but the current situation seemed that he and others were still too optimistic. Even Vegeta could not take the androids, it seemed things were not good. As soon as he flashed to assist Vegeta, 17 had blocked in front. 17's face showed a flirtatious wink, clear voice with a cold, piercing chill, Son Goku, this is a fair fight, none of you can interfere, or don't blame me, and 16 is not polite. Faced with the threat of 17, Son Goku was unusually silent. From the point of view of the strength of the androids, the Earth side only had Vegeta, Trunks, and Son Goku to deal with them with certainty. Piccolo, Tian Shinhan, and others have been unable to keep up the pace. In the case of 3 against 3, Son Goku realized that the scales of victory did not favor their side. The android 16 that made him feel especially uneasy, the big man who had been silent gave him an unusually depressing feeling, that feeling was far from 17, 18 could be compared to. The most dangerous one is the android 16, who doesn't say much. Such a realization arose in his heart, and Son Goku then somewhat cast a shadow of fear. A few moments later, Vegeta's battle was still going on, but a long time to maintain the Super Saiyan state gradually exhausted Vegeta's physical, and his movement gradually slowed down. On the contrary, 18, in addition to the jacket tattered, there was no sign of fatigue. Damn, Are the androids human dolls? The strength is not even a little weakened. Physical and mental trauma made Vegeta gradually lose confidence, but strong pride made him persist in the fight. He couldn't lose in front of Kakarot no matter what. Ah! With a long cry, Vegeta reluctantly roared, rushing the sky flames straight to the clouds. His body flashed a few times, and Vegeta's figure disappeared, moving as fast as lightning, ready to attack hard. Humph! 18's cold smile flashed, allowing Son Goku to watch the battle from afar, heart flooded with bad omens. Suddenly, as if a premonition, 18's body sank, cleverly dodged Vegeta's attack, two sky blue eyes shining, the corners of the cold mouth smile, a leg raised high. Surprisingly, it kicked to Vegeta's arm. Ha! Vegeta let out a painful scream, the whole arm at an incredible angle bent down. The whole arm had been broken. Seeing that 18 continued to attack, Trunks, who was watching the battle, shouted nervously and had transformed into a Super Saiyan and rushed up with his longsword. Not good. This fool. Piccolo and Son Goku could not imagine that Trunks would be so reckless to rush up, immediately disrupting their thinking. But this time, they couldn't let him go up alone. They gritted their teeth and followed, which would turn into a melee. Vegeta and 18 seemed to have settled the big picture, but Trunks suddenly intervened, as well as the Son Goku and Piccolo to support, allowing the battlefield suddenly to become rapidly changing again. The long-awaited 17's delicate lips gently raised, spit, sneered, and acted. A blurred figure flashed. 17 leaped behind Trunks. The two small hands clenched into fists and struck Trunks back violently. Just a face-to-face work, but let the Trunks lose the ability to move. At least the Super Saiyan in front of 17 was so unbeatable, out of everyone's expectation. After defeating Trunks, 17 showed a big smile and attacked Piccolo and Tian Shinhan. I said this is a one-on-one battle, and all those who want to interfere in the battle will be punished. Bang, bang. There were two sounds. Piccolo and Tian Shinhan fell in response to the sound. Son Goku's face was anxious, a few beads of sweat dripping from his forehead, but the android 16 was blocking him to death, so he could not rescue. On one side, Vegeta and Trunks had been under the attack of the androids out of the Super Saiyan state. At this time, they could continue to fight only Son Goku and Krillin, and the situation had taken a sharp turn, very unfavorable to them. To put it politely, Krillin was a soy sauce, and this point was very clear even Krillin himself. Hey, Son Golu, I originally wanted to let you live more days. Who knows you sent yourself to the door? In that case, I'll solve you. 17 crossed his arms with a charming face and said. 18 also walked forward, a bored face said, Vegeta has disappeared, that strange light on the body, his hair has turned back to black. I was made to kill Son Goku, so give him to me. 16, who had not spoken, suddenly spoke up. 16 also want to make a move. Then Son Goku will be for you to deal with. 18 called out in surprise. For this 16, she didn't know why 18 and 17 always felt that they could trust her. Maybe that was the charm. Having 16 to go out, 18 walked over and put his arm around 17's shoulders and laughed, after killing Son Goku, we have a good tour of the world. So many years have passed, wasting so much time hasn't been good fun yet. Krillin stood to the left and right, heart trembling, looking at the playful 17 and 18, and cold sweat emerged. This is bad. Trunks is a sword to kill Frieza but was knocked out by that woman called 17 with a punch. Alas, how can Goku alone be a match for 3 androids? The battle was soon played. Although Son Goku had improved rapidly over the past 3 years, far from being a match for 16, it did not take long to be seriously injured. It's over. Goku is no match. 16, do it quickly so that we can leave. 18's voice came from far away. 16 nodded his stiff head, the hands gathered a vast wave of energy, raised his head eyes flatly, I only kill Son Goku alone, no malice to others. Damn, totally not an opponent. Son Goku's eyes were half closed, helplessly prostrate on the ground, the corners of the eyes left blood. Die. His palm shone with a silver-white light, energy waves erupted from the palm of 16, and for a moment, space condensed, blindingly bright light spread out in an instant, stinging people's eyes. Rumble. Violent explosion sound came, the wild energy mixed with astonishing aura swept away together. The whole canyon was instantly swept away by the powerful force of the shock wave. Forest trees were uprooted, broken land, and rocks flew around. Rivers and lakes followed the surge of shocking waves. Huge colored clouds rushed up to the clouds. Goku! Krillin shouted in grief and anger. This energy was huge and terrifying. If placed on other planets, it could destroy the planet in a moment. In such huge energy was the Super Saiyan could not survive. Wow, the strength of 16 is so strong. 18 exclaimed in surprise, and 17 also curled his mouth in amazement. It looks like number 16's strength is even stronger than us. Really, people shouldn't judge by looks. Who could have known that the quite naive and dumb number 16 is so strong? When the smoke from the explosion gradually dispersed and saw the scene inside, 16's face was a little stiff. 17 and 18, the two sisters looked back, saw the scene in the center of the explosion, followed by a stunned face, and then their faces turned gloomy. In the center of the explosion, a blonde female Super Saiyan was standing in front of Son Goku. In the nick of time, Ayaka appeared in front of Son Goku by teleportation and blocked the attack of 16 for him. Great, Ayaka, he is saved. When Krillin saw Ayaka appear, his tears flowed. 18's face looked gravel at the sudden appearance of the female Super Saiyan. She inquired about the information, said, she is the sister of Son Goku, called Ayaka. She has rarely struck out and there is no specific data about her in the information, but I cannot imagine that the strength is so powerful. Our goal is only Son Goku, do not mess with the others. 17 subconsciously wants to avoid conflict with Ayaka. But she does not seem to allow us to kill Son Goku. This hurts. 18 fingers on the head to play around, curling a few strands of hair. 16 reverted to the harmless state of that heavy sword without a blade before, with a calm face looking at Ayaka, suddenly rippled back a few steps to walk to 17 them. I just probed the energy in her body at close range, and the reaction is particularly strong. She has more powerful energy than any of us. With her around, we can't kill the Son Goku. 16, even you can't beat it? 18 suddenly asked. Yes. The sisters all of a sudden frowned up, feeling that things were difficult. It seemed that something was beyond their expectations, so that several androids who had intended to play the game of Earth to experience the joy of life were immediately caught in a dilemma. Ayaka suddenly showed overwhelming strength, at once dispersed their pursuit of the wonderful state of mind of freshness. On the side, Ayaka lifted the Super Saiyan state, watching the two of them 17 and 18 with interest. From time to time, the sound of admiration. The two had beautiful faces, bland but elegant temperaments. The original siblings turned into sisters, and surprisingly it had a unique flavor. The androids in this world were quite kind. They did not kill a single human, like in the original. They fought one-on-one and knew how to protect the natural environment, making Ayaka treat them with good feelings. 17, although you are androids, I can see that there is nothing hostile in you. Why not sit down to make a cup of tea and talk? Why fight and kill? No need, today we will let Son Goku go. Next time he will not be so lucky. 17 felt bored and planned to leave. Suddenly, Ayaka looked at 18, and seeing the tattered clothes on her, she went up and called them to stop, then handed them a set of clothes. 18, the clothes you are wearing are tattered. Put this dress on. That was a set of clothes similar to the original 18 later. 18 received the clothes with a bewildered face, and Ayaka tapped her head again, swishing out a pearl necklace and personally putting it on 18's neck. That's much cuter. Ayaka exclaimed. Thanks. 18 looked strange and flickered a few times, whispered a thank you, and then followed 17 and flew away. Ayaka, why did you let them go? They are androids. Seeing the androids leave, Krillin swayed from hand to hand. Ayaka shook her head and pulled out a few senzu beans and threw them over. These androids aren't bad. They're not our enemies. Goku thinks so too, right? Well, they seem like they're a bit reckless, but I can't feel their killing aura, so they shouldn't be considered bad guys. Ayaka then laughed. Yes, they are still redeemable problem youth only. It can be solved with a dress, a necklace, or even a few words. Why do we have to fight and kill to do it? Whatever you say. Krillin could not say anything for a while, so he ran over to feed the injured people senzu beans. Tian Shinhan, Yamcha, and Vegeta soon awakened, and from the mouth of Krillin, learned the news that the androids had left. Vegeta's face was blue, his body was trembling slightly because of anger, and the fiasco of fighting with the androids made him suffer badly. Shame! Yelling in anger, Vegeta flew up into the sky alone and left. Let him alone, since Vegeta turned into a Super Saiyan, he becomes arrogant. This is not a small blow, and he hates to be defeated by a woman. Piccolo stopped Trunks, who wanted to go after him, said. The crowd smiled at the words. However, it wasn't the case. Ayaka first struck him, and his heart was fragile. Hey, the heart made of glass was fragile, and it felt like it would never love again. Trunks wanted to say something but calmed down, wondering, they do not look like the androids I know. I have seen the strength of the androids who are not that strong, and they have a completely different mentality, does not seem to be very brutal. Well, according to Ayaka, those 3 androids won't hurt Earth. We can leave them alone for now. We mainly need to improve our strength. Piccolo flickered sharply, looking in the direction of the lookout. His calmed heart could not be calm for a long time. Facing the androids had let him realize their own weakness, unknowingly, even he gradually couldn't keep up with the pace of the Saiyans. A few days later, Trunks received a call from Bulma. A mysterious machine was found in the forest in the west. Because it had the logo of the Capsule Corporation, Bulma suspected that it was a time machine and needed Trunks to go over and confirm it. On the lookout, Piccolo approached the old Kami. The old Kami looked down from the lookout with a stony face while an ominous feeling in his heart. He finally saw clearly the new crisis of the Earth, the android from another time and space cell. In a small town, 17 grabbed a caravan, and then 3 androids drove the car around and wandered up. 17 looked at the beautiful clothes his sister was wearing, narrowed her eyes, and smiled lightly. The clothes that Saiyan gave you fit you quite well, it looks beautiful. Humph. Number 18 indifferently bristled, playing with the necklace hanging around her neck, smiling lightly. That said, we have no chance to kill Son Goku. What do we do next? Well, the attack on Son Goku is just because there is nothing to do to pass the time. Giving up is not much. But 16, you are specially made to kill Son Goku. Is it okay not to do it? 17 asked while driving with a tilted head. Although they were the androids created by Dr. Gero, since the betrayal of Dr. Gero, they no longer have to comply with the orders left by Dr. Gero to kill Son Goku. And even if they wanted to kill, someone would stop them. I don't know. 16 looked out of the window, turned back with a smile, and replied indifferently. In the cold, icy sky of the northern polar regions, a tall young girl appeared without warning, then a few flashes and flew off in the southeast direction. It was a young girl with a beautiful face and eyebrows and a lovely spirit. The young girl was flying at high speed in the air, but her body did not leak a bit of breath. What people noticed the most was her long, shiny silvery snow-white hair, a glittering white flame wrapped around her. It's like a genie in a legend. A closer look at the delicate and lovely face, the pair of eyes full of aura was actually also silvery white. Bastard guy, I won't let you get ahead of me. In another place, on the calm and ripple-free island, a young girl with long red hair stood on the sea, feeling the soft breeze coming from the air. The girl opened her eyes, and she sensed the aura of the earth. The corners of her mouth revealed a charming smile. This is the earth. Something doesn't seem right. No matter, it's hard to come here. First, go find sister. The red-haired girl pondered for a while, then locked a direction to fly away. The calm sea immediately cut through a torrent. At the lookout, Piccolo sat on the square with a complicated face looking at the old kami. He was easily defeated by 17 after feeling a lack of strength, so he left everything behind to come to the lookout. The old kami stood on the edge of the lookout with a cane, two eyes penetrated the layers of clouds below to view what was happening on the earth. Not long ago, a strange monster suddenly appeared in his sight. It was from other time and space aggregation of various excellent bloodline android cell. The initial state of Cell was not scary, but he was able to continuously improve his strength by sucking human life essence. In just a few hours, dozens of cities had been attacked and tens of millions of humans had been killed. Because of CDLL's special ability, not a single trace of the energy of the victims escaped and was sucked dry intact, so it was hard for people to notice. At this time, Cell had grown up, the strength was strong enough to rival 17. These 4 years I have been disturbed, before I was confused, thought it was the threat of the androids, until I just saw that guy and finally, I understand. The Earth will soon land a huge disaster, a crisis that has never been encountered before. The old kami clutched his cane with both hands and let out a long sigh after he finished. Humph, what exactly did you see? Piccolo said disdainfully. The old kami did not answer, still looking down on the lower realm with a concentrated expression. The corners of his dry mouth twitched. Oh, just wait and you will naturally understand. I was worried that those few androids would do something untoward and bring calamity to the Earth, but fortunately those androids are quite peaceful and not as inhumane as rumors. But I did not expect a new enemy to appear on Earth so soon. What Earth needs now is not a god or a dragon ball, but a powerful warrior. How do you say, you agree to fusion? Piccolo wondered what the old kami had just seen, and his attitude had changed so much. Yes, the time has come for the fusion of the kami and the great demon king. When the time comes, I will transform into the power in you. The old kami lingeringly looked at the lookout where he lived for many years, slowly said, Piccolo has changed, that evil thought in his heart has disappeared, there is no need to separate after this fusion. Mr. Popo, thanks for taking care of me for so many years. Kami. Mr. Popo understood what was happening next, he looked downcast and reluctant. Ha, Piccolo, fuse. The old kami shouted, and his whole body emitted a bright light, turning into a whirlwind of storms that surged towards Piccolo's body. Suddenly, Piccolo's whole body burned with fire-red ki flames, and his ki kept climbing, finally reaching its peak after the old kami completely fused into Piccolo's body. The violent gale swept furiously on the hall, and the air, which was already very thin, became even lighter all of a sudden. This power definitely exceeds that of the androids. Piccolo confidently clenched his fist and felt the new power of his body. Piccolo and the old kami were more powerful than the original. This fusion at once let him exceed the strength of the androids. Now, I am neither Piccolo nor the old kami, but the forgotten name of the Super Namekian. Thinking of the monster that could absorb human essence to enhance strength, as seen in the old kami's memory, the excitement on Piccolo's face because of the strength enhancement faded away, and his icy face became grave. After saying goodbye to Mr. Popo, he leapt down the lookout, towards the location of Cell. There were still countless humans suffering from the killing there. A guy who can absorb life essence, what kind of monster is that? After seeing Piccolo fly away, Mr. Popo sighed a little, then walked to Ayaka's room and reported to her about Piccolo's situation. After listening to Mr. Popo's report, Ayaka waved her hand and said, "The old kami chose to fuse with Piccolo after all. It's his choice, and we won't discuss whether it's right or wrong." Even so, Piccolo's strength became stronger than the original. Now that Super Piccolo had appeared, that cell was close to the perfect body. From Super Piccolo to the time cell became a perfect cell, Ayaka knew that it only took 3 days. 3 days after, perfect cell should hold the cell game. The next question was, should we stop cell from devouring 17 and 18? Ayaka couldn't bear to let such lovely girls be devoured. 17 and 8 had been different from the original. Son Goku and the others knew that the sisters were not malicious to the earth, and the dormant device would not be manufactured. The sisters should know that it was not easy to kill Son Goku, so that they might have given up. As long as they did not go to Master Roshi to find Son Goku, they would not easily meet Cell. If they were still found by Cell, Ayaka could not do anything about it. She could only resurrect them after destroying the perfect cell. Snap! Ayaka's palm on the head of the bed, the body, leaned back and spread, decided to leave it. Mr. Popo, have Goku and others already entered the hyperbolic time chamber? Ayaka suddenly asked. A few days ago, Son Goku suddenly brought Son Gohan and Vegeta. Trunks approached her, wanting Ayaka to open the hyperbolic time chamber for them to practice, and Ayaka agreed and let Mr. Popo arrange it. It's not their turn yet. The first group to go in are Trunks and Vegeta. Well, it will take a while before they come out. Ayaka nodded lightly, then sat on the bed and pondered. Cell's harmfulness was undoubted, and Ayaka felt no need to let him become a complete body because doing so would not benefit her in any way but would lead to the loss of countless lives. He was not detected before because he was well disguised, and now that he was exposed, it was time to remove him. In the calm sea, the silver-haired girl stepped through the void speeding forward, silver-white aura tightly wrapped around the body, the long silver hair against the sea breeze was blowing down behind, like stardust across the starry sky emitting glittering luster, swoosh across the sea. Suddenly, the silver-haired girl stopped and saw a cluster of fire-red figures in her eyes, her face sunken, gnashing of teeth to the figure attacked. Not far away, the red-haired girl was flying comfortably. Although her heart was anxious to see her sister, the surrounding waves, calm and peaceful seascape made her mood very pleasant, the speed could not help but slow down the speed. At that moment, she saw a young girl with a silvery glow emanating from her whole body come in front of her, looking at her with an angry face, and actually stopped her way at once. Being stopped, who was this person? The red-haired girl narrowed her eyes at the silver-haired girl who blocked her way, and after confirming that she did not know her, the girl asked suspiciously, "This lady, do I know each other? Why are you blocking my way?" The silver-haired girl was furious, her eyes glared round, and she bellowed, "You don't know me, but I know your name is Ayaba. You won't get past me today unless you fight me." "Ha, someone here actually knows my name." The red-haired girl, Ayaba, was amazed in her heart and carefully sized up her opponent. Ayaba was clear that her own birth was extremely special and grasped the great opportunity to come here so easily. It was reasonable to say that no one in this world should know her. "I didn't expect to meet a great person just after arriving. This is interesting." Ayaba looked over with her seductive eyes, and her pretty face showed a lovely peachy smile. "What I hate the most is the smile you show with this face." The silver-haired girl muttered, recalling the person's smile deep in her memory, and her face turned ugly. With a gloomy attack, the silver-haired girl shouted angrily. Her whole body immediately exploded with a terrifying and suffocating aura. Suddenly the power spread out, the sky stirred up the incomparable chaos, the wind howling, tiger and ape cry like hissing. Chaotic air currents hit the sea, immediately set off hundreds of meters of high wind waves, wind followed by huge waves slapped out, the scene is chaos. Silver flames suddenly pulled up, surging and stirring energy tumbled up in midair. As if extreme heat, the surrounding moisture vaporized at once, the diffuse white fog rumbled and spread, and the silver-haired girl glared her silver-white eyes, two eyes filled with ice-cold piercing killing intent. Ah! Ayaba was obviously stunned by the other party's ki. Her small hand covered her lips and cried out, the corners of her pink and delicate mouth curled slightly, displaying a seductive smile. Ho! The golden ki appeared out of thin air. Ayaba's long, fiery red hair suddenly turned golden, the hair on her forehead was suspended high under the effect of the flame, and in the golden burning flame, two turquoise eyes were revealed. Crackling. Silver bright arcs of lightning constantly flash, adding a bit of majestic dominance to her powerful transformation. This was Super Saiyan 2 transformation, the second Super Saiyan 2 to appear in the world apart from Ayaka. Humph, strange lady. Although I do not know why you are hostile to me, trying to block my way, that would be a big mistake. Ayaba waved her hand very dominantly. The silver-haired girl snorted coldly and shook her head disdainfully. Super Saiyan 2 transformation. If it were not for fear of alarming them and cannot use the full force of the words, would crush you with one finger. But this little power is more than enough to deal with you. Wondering who was the they that the girl was talking about that made them so afraid. Big talk. This was Ayaba's comment to the silver-haired girl, who was simply without bounds, full of words that were out of tune. According to the memory obtained in mind, Ayaba didn't dare to say that she knew everything but at least had a clear perception of the world's strongest people. At this stage, the strong people who dared to say that they easily defeated Super Saiyan 2 were not without power. Of course, but that was in the boundless universe. At this time, there were no such strong people on Earth. Do not believe it does not matter. Just wait, and I will let you see what is called absolute power. The silver-haired girl smiled contemptuously. After that, her face was straight, and both eyes looked straight at her opponent. Her body swayed swoosh and disappeared abruptly, cutting a blurred shadow in place, a few remnants connected into a line, but straight towards the red leaves. The small fist was swung towards Ayaba. Without warning, a slender fist appeared in front of the eyes. Ayaba's expression changed dramatically, and she hurriedly raised her hand to block the past. Clang, a sound, a huge impact to promote the shock wave scattered out. Ayaba felt a shock, and the body was instantly back a few meters. What a force! She couldn't help but marvel at the sound, lightly rubbing the faintly numb wrist, the expression then gaze up. Boom! 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 The sea surface blows super strong whirlwind, gradually the storm range continues to expand, this center for dozens of kilometers around all surrounded by the storm. The dark sky clouds, booming thunder, black clouds gathered, as if pouring out the ink, the sky dyed black. The sea surface huge waves churning, one by one 100 meters high huge waves overturned, slapping each other splash a piece of the wave. The two young girls were like female gods of war with victory in their hands. Both sides were confident. They tested each other, and their fighting figures shifted from the sky to the sea's surface and then moved from the surface to the bottom of the sea, and there was no place that was not a battlefield for their tussle. This silver-haired girl does have some strength. Ayaba was fighting while judging. She did not know how much truth there was in the words of the silver-haired girl just now, nor why she was against herself, but the other party's strength was real. But these did not make her step back. Hey, before seeing sister, I will warm up a little. This intensity of battle rare opportunity. But then again, couldn't it be that my sister offended her, and she mistook me for sister, but how does she know my name? Ayaba pondered. The silver-haired girl stopped in the air. Ayaba's strength has actually reached this level. It seems she entered the Super Saiyan 2 realm, not just a day or two. Should I release a little more power? The silver-haired girl's eyes flashed. If she released more energy, the district Super Saiyan 2 stage naturally did not matter. However, she quickly denied, no, if you raise the strength again, they will soon notice. This time I sneaked out, it would be bad if they were drawn here. This time, I'm afraid I won't have the chance to teach Ayaba a good lesson. The silver-haired girl's mind kept turning, then nodded with determination and continued to attack towards Ayaba. In Kami's bedchamber, originally lying on the bed half-squinted eyes, resting, Ayaka suddenly sensed two strong breaths coming. Her heart was astonished, and her eyes suddenly opened. Her body quickly jumped up from the bed, and then full of suspicion transient to the outside of the room. On the corridor, waiting outside the spiritual time house, Son Goku also sensed the appalling energy coming from the lower realm and was equally shocked. What kind of ki is this? Why do I feel my whole body is shivering? As soon as the light worked, Krillin couldn't control the body to squat down, hands supported on the ground, cold sweat had soaked undershirt. Yes, I find it difficult even to breathe. Yamcha's face was full of sweat. This is trouble, the androids are not over, and what monsters have appeared in the lower world? Tian Shinhan cold face gray, stiff. Son Goku was equally full of worry, this ki is very powerful. I'm afraid that even if Vegeta and the others succeeded in breaking through is definitely not an opponent. At this time, Ayaka's elegant figure appeared on the corridor. Seeing her appearance, the crowd found the axis of the backbone had gathered around. Ayaka, the newly appeared powerful ki, do you know what is going on? Unfortunately, the answer was not what they expected. Ayaka shook her head slightly and said softly, I'm not sure, but those two ki give me a very familiar feeling as if I've seen them somewhere. Forget it. You guys should not interfere in this matter. I will go to the lower realm as soon as possible to see and come back to tell you when I find something. Son Goku nodded helplessly. Those two strands of ki overtake them too much, and they could only let Ayaka alone explore the situation first and then make a decision after separating the enemy from us. After seeing the strength of the androids, I know that the Super Saiyan is not invincible, like Ayaka, and those androids can easily defeat us. Well, I must quickly reach beyond the realm of Super Saiyan. Piccolo was silently nodded and spoke, and that newly emerged strong people, we cannot let down our guard. You guys stay here. I'll go and return as soon as I could. Saying that, Ayaka launched instant transmission, and her figure immediately disappeared from the lookout. In the sea at the lower realm. Within a radius of tens of miles, the seawater was boiling like a huge boiler, tumbling up and down, thousands of tons of seawater were stirred up by the energy scattered by the battle, splashing into the air, and then falling back down under the influence of gravity, some of which vaporized before it reached the surface. On the battlefield, hundreds of 4 or 5 meters thick transparent water columns straight up to the clouds, connecting the sky and the sea. Ayaka appeared on the sea's surface full of doubts, looking at the distant gloomy zone of constantly flashing electric light. She accelerated as soon as her body quickly forward. What in the world has come to Earth, and why do those chi give me such a familiar feeling? The two young girls who were fighting fiercely seemed to sense something and stopped fighting the moment Ayaka appeared. It's sister's breath. Did sister come over? Ayaba shouted with a face full of surprise. She actually came. Well, now is not the time to meet. The silver-haired girl's face hesitated slightly, then she quickly left with a grit of her teeth. Humph, little girl, knowing that my sister is coming, you run away so quickly. Seeing the silver-haired girl retreat without a fight, Ayaba couldn't help but laugh openly. Suddenly, she twisted her body and looked around, nervousness rising in her heart. Will I be a little hasty to meet my sister like this, or should I dress up? Just when Ayaba was struggling over what posture to use to face her sister, Ayaka had appeared beside her. At the first glimpse of the young girl in front of her, Ayaka could not help but feel a blur before her eyes, and then rubbed her eyes hard, innocent mouth open into an O shape. The most surprising thing was that the other party had a face exactly like hers. If she wasn't sure that she had been awake, Ayaka even suspected that she was dreaming. Ooh! A golden key rose up. Ayaka also turned into a Super Saiyan 2 state, her huge aura spreading outward, silvery white electric light scurrying and crackling in the aura flames. For a time, Ayaka approached the young girl. Two identical young girls were standing side by side, the huge golden breath vying with each other, at once letting the whole world eclipsed. The two girls stood on the surface of the sea. Turquoise eyes were looking at each other, a vast and rapid whirlwind. Round of waves rushing out in all directions, the smooth surface of the sea slowly sink out of two huge arcs of more than 50 meters deep puddles, or bordering each other. Phew! The two of them exit the Super Saiyan state at the same time, and only then does Ayaka realize that although the other side looks like his face, she has beautiful long fiery red hair. "Sister, I finally see you!" Ayaba shouted excitedly. "What? Why did she call me sister? She's not my long-lost sister, is she?" "No, I don't have a sister, so who the hell is she?" If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep you updated for future uploads.